Good afternoon, fellow staff. I hope you're all doing well and enjoyed your summer break. I know we had a meeting last week, but this recording is for the staff members that were not able to attend and to recap everything that was discussed. At the end of Term 2, as you all know, we are looking to take the Year 11 classes on our annual mission, the extra mile. It is our duty to be active practitioners of the morals and ethics presented here at Arthur Phillip High School. And what better way to do so than enrich our own global knowledge and help others in need overseas? Mr. Perot and I believe this trip will not only build strong relationships for staff and students, but also help everyone understand the true meanings of respect, responsibility, and success. This is even more important for our students as they will soon be transitioning into their final year of high school. Now, let us move on to some key points that were brought up during our last meeting, with one of them being the eligibility of partaking in this trip for each staff member. As you all know, we are approaching a difficult period for our students, in particular the HSC trials and furthermore the HSC itself. Mr. Perot brought up an excellent point, that being the teachers that have Year 12 classes will not be allowed, unfortunately, to partake on this trip, as the academic success of those students take priority. Additionally, we strongly encourage Mrs. Sanchez, since you are the year coordinator for the current Year 11s, that you attend this trip, since you have created such a deep connections with the students, and they may be more inclined to join us on this trip if you are there. With these points in mind, any other staff member that seems interested in attending, there will be an expression of interest form further down that you can fill out. It has to be noted, however, that the number of teachers attending this trip will depend on how many students are financially capable of attending it also. Therefore, even though you may complete the expression of interest form, you may not be selected for this trip. Now, to help you gain a better understanding of this trip, we'll be looking at the itinerary. As you are all aware of, the extra mile trip will be taking place in Vietnam and Cambodia, since they are quite close geographically to one another, and they can provide many opportunities to promote our school values as mentioned previously. For the first half of the trip, however, we'll be exploring various aspects of Vietnam, such as Ho Chi Minh City, the War Remnants Museum, and the Chu Chi Tunnels. Furthermore, teachers and students during our time at home stay will engage in school renovations in the local community, and then we will undergo a tour around the border town of Chau Doc. From day 6 all the way to day 12, we will be engaging in activities in Cambodia. These will include visiting the 12 Sleng prisons, the killing fields, Siem Reap night markets, building a house and toilet bank, and concluding with visiting various temples and sites such as the Temple of Angkor, the Bayon Temple, and the Silk Farm. More in-depth details about the itinerary will be given out at the next meeting. Now, moving on to a very important task at hand, and that is the responsibility of teachers that will be going on this trip. I will now pass the remainder of this presentation over to Mr. Perot.
The most important responsibilities for you teachers is to create the most safe and supportive environment for students to thrive and enjoy this trip. I won't go into all protocols that ensure the safety of students, but will highlight your role for activities such as the Great Race. Students will be split into groups of 8 to 12, where each group will have one of you monitoring those students. For example, taking the role at each checkpoint, not breaking up the group from each other, and essentially always knowing the whereabouts of each student at all times. Here is a risk assessment form for all teachers to refer to. It is vital that all potential hazards are understood by teachers and therefore monitored closely in order to minimise the risk for students. For example, learning students' medical histories such as asthma and certain allergies, also being trained in medical response, greatly minimises the major consequences of these reactions. All teachers and students must have a valid passport and tourist visa to enter Vietnam and Cambodia, which will last up to 30 days. The deadline for acquiring the tourist visa is the 27th of May for both students and teachers. Whilst it isn't a requirement, teachers should be up to date with their COVID-19 vaccines. However, if in doubt, talk to your local physician. Leading up to our trip, there will be an information night on the 12th of June. We will also hold 2 group meetings for us teachers that goes into more detail about our roles and responsibilities, with the date pending what's suitable for everyone. The total cost of the trip is $5,638, which includes flights, accommodation and meals, which will be covered by the school for all teachers. This total cost, however, does not cover spending money, any future vaccinations, or any additional supplies that are bought. Here is a Google form for all of you to fill out that gives your expression of interest for the Extra Mile Tour 2025. We hope you will be available to join us on this incredible experience that will be remembered for the rest of your life.